Little sneak peek of our guest there at the beginning.
Little sneaky peek action. And caught our guest totally off guard. Anyway, it keeps you on your toes. We keep you on your toes here at Lancaster Connects. I was saying to Ben again in the pre-show, we need to have a little lyric contest for our intro. If somebody wants to maybe chop it up on the keyboard or the guitar and give us some verse and chorus for the Lancaster Connects intro song, we would be open to that. And there'd probably be a pretty cool prize, more than just our regular prizes.
Like an even better level of prizes.
Yeah, I mean, they would commensurate with how cool the song is.
Yeah, okay. Right. So depending on how much we like their version of the Lancaster Connect song.
Right. It's like if the beat drops and your soul just explodes, we would
imagine?
We would reward appropriately. Yes.
Oh, brother. Welcome back.
Yeah, well, it's good to be back.
Yeah.
It feels like this whole first quarter has been craziness.
Your knee
replacements, first floor flood, home replacements.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Family member passing on. So anyway, we're back. We're here for our Lancaster Connects. This is episode 91. My goodness.
We're cresting to the episode. Like I was saying, we've got shows booked through Memorial Day. And I think
it's pretty darn close.
Yeah, I think that show the week before Memorial Day is either 97 or 98. And then sometime in June right there, we're going to have to figure out
something big, something for the fans and the people for episode 100 for sure.
Maybe we will play the theme song live as the intro.
Yeah, it'll be Chris recording me attempting it at all the episodes till that. A mashup.
We need a keytar for that.
A mashup. Who are we talking with or did I dream this? The keyboard blowing the thing?
We talked about it 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I think that's when we first started talking about the lyrics.
With that instrument. Yes.
We're doing the whole Jimmy Fallon thing.
That's right.
Yeah. And there was a name for it, which I can't remember the name of it. I'm sure there we go.
Melodica.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, we had a Goodwill version of a melodica. We didn't have the tip there for the thing.
Right.
So,
right. You need the tip.
Yeah, we just blew into the cracked hole at the top of it. It was terrible. But it made music and we had fun as kids, and that was that. But hey, thank you for watching. This is the show about the big and little businesses in town, whether that's businesses or charities. Anybody that's doing good, we like to kind of put a spotlight on. And that's what our show is about. Lancaster Connects, connecting our watchers and listeners of the community through two crazy guys sitting in a mattress store that just feel good about giving back. And that's what we're here to do. And so we have some fun, we have some laughs, and that's the show we got.
Yeah,
right?
we laugh.
We laugh. I don't know if anybody else laughs, but we laugh. That's for sure. So at any rate, we've talked about prizes. So yeah, seriously, if you want to do lyrics, you just might get something real special. But
if a mattress,
well, that's what I'm thinking. I mean,
say, let's do it.
No, Ben, we're going to give them an HVAC system,
a new VCR,
right? But we've got prizes right away without any musical talent needed. You can get hydro flasks, which are really nice. I kind of had a little disappointment at home. We have these things in abundance and we buy them at wholesale prices. And yet my family decides to go out and buy more from other places, the otherware store.
You almost said underwear.
I may or may not have taken a pain pill about 30 minutes prior to this episode. But yeah, these are really nice. I'm like, family, you didn't have to go and spend $80 on these two, rhymes with Schmetty. I don't know if we can say it, but it just sounded funny. But we have these and they're really great. And I have them in this exact shape, and I have one in that exact shape.
This one.
Yes, we had them both.
And they can be earned for free.
They can be earned for free. You can come in and buy them. We sell them here. They're like $20. We get a really great deal. And they're really cool colors. You're not going to mix this one up in the yoga studio
That's true. Who has what kind of blue do you call this? There was a specific name.
Havasupai.
That's right. Yes. It's a
Yes.
fun blue name.
So you're not going to mix this up in the row, wherever you might be doing your athletic maneuvers, be it yoga, weightlifting, jazzercise, wherever you line up your water bottles, you're not going to lose it. Like you're going to be the only one with a cool blue Havasupai blue.
Or athletic maneuvers exercises.
Yes.
Or
yes. So that's
just
that's
put something in the chat, right?
Yep. You can tell everybody's really loving the show so far. Let's go comment it up. Anyhow, the other prize, a little travel to go back, great little travel pillow, little throw blanket that's in there. So it's your choice. When you comment on the show, we do the prize wheel at the end of the show.
And you can comment on any of our platforms, Facebook, Gardner's Mattress and More, the Lancaster Connect Facebook pages, same for YouTube.
Yeah.
Those two pages.
That's why
LinkedIn.
it pays to watch and be here live.
That's right. Show. That's right. You can have the opportunity to earn free gifts.
Yep.
Just for paying attention.
Well, we got right out of the gate, scaring the bejesus out of our guest. Printing her right on camera. She is not sure at all what she signed up for.
Yep. No.
Just yet. No. But let's welcome Megan Tomsheck onto the show from VisionCorps. Megan, welcome.
We met. Yeah.
That might have been our fault.
Okay. Hi. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
There we go.
Thanks for hanging on.
Two strikes. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, Megan is not only representing a great organization called VisionCorps, which we'll talk about all the great things they're doing. Megan is also a Gardner's customer. Thank you, Megan.
Yes. Thank you.
And with accepting the 15-month-old, I think you said, you're sleeping very well in the new bed. Correct?
Yes. He does usually sleep through the night, but when he doesn't, I need that mattress to get me through the next night to catch up.
There you go.
And it's wonderful. I'm in heaven. We've had it about a month now, and it makes a huge difference to sleep great.
Yeah, it does. It does. Sleep is underrated, I think. Right?
I can attest to that. I've had underrated sleep for about 3 months. It's been awful.
Yeah.
Oh.
I had to jump on the sleep pill train because it was just getting a little too much out there. So anyhow.
So Megan, are you Lancaster Connects? Are you a Lancaster native?
I am. I was born in Lancaster General Hospital.
Okay.
And I grew up outside of Millersville. And then I went to the University of Pittsburgh for college and stayed out there for a couple years and then ended up coming back to Lancaster. So
Very
yes,
cool.
I'm a native and will be here for life, I'm sure.
I see a picture of a stadium in your background. Does that have something to do with Pitt or Pittsburgh or?
That's actually the Minnesota Vikings, the old stadium where my husband proposed to me. He's a huge Vikings fan. And so I told him I do not want a public proposal. So it happened in a stadium with thousands and thousands of people on the Jumbotron. But anyway, it's still a good memory. So that's what that is. Yeah, I have stuff all over my office from places I visited.
Look at what our producer, Chris from Cast Ahead Productions, by the way, if you need anything podcasting, he's a really great guy, except in this moment where he wants to torment the Eagles fan with their Vikings chant.
Oh, is he a Vikings fan?
He is not. We should ask him.
I'm surprised.
He's a Detroit Lions fan. So
okay.
He's just years of torment and torture, and
his happiness has to ride on your happiness and our happiness and all the other 31 teams' happiness. Sorry, Chris.
Great.
He knows it. We've talked about it. We're cool like that.
That's great. Football.
So give us the rundown on VisionCorps.
So VisionCorps is Lancaster's local blind association. We have been here almost 100 years. In 3 years, it'll be 100 years that we've been serving the Lancaster community. We also serve York, Adams, Chester, and Lebanon counties, but Lancaster is where we started and where we have been the longest and have our biggest client base. So we provide services to people experiencing vision loss and people who are blind. It's important before I go on to say people who are legally blind, less than 10% of them are totally blind. So one misconception we find when we go and talk to the public is that people think you have to be totally blind to get our services, which is not accurate. If you're experiencing vision loss, that is, a doctor will give us a report to show that you're experiencing vision loss 20/70 or worse, you're an acuity. We can provide services at no cost to our clients that qualify. And then those services include rehabilitation, orientation and mobility instruction, which is the science of safe travel, using a white cane, getting to your mailbox to check the mail, getting to Gardeners to look for a mattress, anything like that, getting from point A to point B. Our orientation mobility folks will help. We have social workers. We have access technology specialists. So anything to help someone who is blind continue to live their life as they did before they started to lose their vision. We say people who are blind can do anything sighted people can do except drive. That's illegal, but they do have those self-driving cars now. So our goal is to meet our clients, where they want to be.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah.
With the advent of self-driving car technology, maybe down the road, that'll happen for folks that are blind.
Yeah, that's the biggest hurdle, I think, for a lot of our clients when they lose their vision and they can no longer drive, because that's a huge part of being independent, is being able to get up and go whenever you want, to go to the grocery store or go out to eat, anything. You just hop in your car and go. But if you're blind, you can't rely on that. We've had people that have had to move to places with public transportation, be on a bus line so they can get to work or any of these other activities they need to do. So definitely transportation is the biggest hurdle to get over as far as getting back into your normal routine, usually if you've lost your vision.
What's interesting, social media must have figured out that we were going to be talking today, because I think it was last night or this morning as I was just scrolling social media, the video popped up where there's a bill reader for somebody who's visually impaired. So it reads the end of the bill. It must announce, or it indicates something, that it's a $5 bill or a $20 bill. And then the user had another tool that on the other side of the bill they would press, and it would imprint the Braille for the $5, $10, $20 bill.
Oh, that's interesting. I haven't seen that yet. I'm sure our rehab department has. Yeah. So that technology is probably the biggest thing that's happening lately in the field of blindness that is making huge strides. So we are committed here at VisionCorps to bringing the latest technology. It's called access technology to our clients. We recently received a large grant from the county commissioners through the ARPA funds to create a space for our access technology. And then we have a genius access technology specialist, Benjamin, who is from Ghana, and he's worked the world, some Ghana Blind. It was a huge organization. I can't remember the name. I'm sorry, Benjamin. But he is a genius with technology. Benjamin himself is totally blind. So he's not only teaching the technology, but using it. And that's the type of thing that we are teaching people to use. If you have a smartphone, I don't know what I can say on here, but one that is named after a fruit, right off the shelf, those devices are all accessible. So they're tablets, they're phones. I use that type of phone, and I can go in and make the entire phone audible. So if I'm totally blind, I can use this right off the shelf, and it will read the apps to me. It'll say, double tap once you get to the app that you want to open. And once it says it, you double tap it and it will open. So all of this is really making a difference in the lives of people who are blind. Just think about going out to eat at a restaurant and how, reading a menu. If you're blind, and a lot of restaurants have low lighting, it's complicated. Now you can get on your phone and have it read to you. So you don't have to rely on someone else to read you a menu. That's just one example. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, VisionCorps hasn't always been called VisionCorps, and I think it's got a really long history. I think in setting this up, I think I read it was one of the oldest nonprofits in Lancaster County. Is that correct?
Yeah. So VisionCorps started in 1926. Some people were returning from the war with vision loss, some veterans, and a group of people wanted to help them to both have something to do with their day and work, and then also, of course, to help them with their vision. Now, our philosophy has changed a lot since those days. We moved around a lot. We were Lancaster County Association for the Blind, and then Susquehanna Association for the Blind and Vision Impaired, now our VisionCorps. But not only has our name changed, but our philosophy. So back then when we started, there's a lot of hand-holding for people who are blind and just doing things for them. And now we want to give them the tools and training that they need to be successful and independent on their own. So we will teach them to cross the street and not cross the street with them every time. Teach them to read the paper, get their news, however is most convenient for them, without someone having to sit and read to them. So along with our name, our philosophy's changed and our achievements have changed and gotten better every year.
That has to be a frightening proposition, I would imagine, for the first time as somebody who's visually impaired to outright blind crossing the street for the first time.
Yeah. So I can't say that I've, can know even close to what it's like. But a few years ago, I used to live downtown within walking distance of VisionCorps. We're right down on Queen Street across from the bus station. And for a week, I wore different types of simulators to simulate vision loss. And on the last day, I was totally blindfolded and someone came, our orientation mobility instructor came to my house and he kind of served as what a dog guide would be to someone who is blind. So I literally held onto a harness and was led by him to work. It's probably about 6 blocks is where I live. And the things that you don't notice every day that I would walk to work, things I never noticed that stand out when you lose your vision. So, you use a white cane or a dog guide for things that are on the ground that picks up, an uneven sidewalk, or if you're approaching a road, you'll feel the sidewalk dip, but it doesn't pick up things above your waist. So there's utility boxes on utility poles that you've probably walked by a million times but never realized they were there. But if you are blind, you could walk right into them because there's nothing above you, cars parked on the sidewalk that had happened, walk right into a car. But crossing the street, I was standing there and I was waiting and I said to him, well, aren't you going to go? He's like, I don't know when it's safe to go. I'm a dog. He's like, I'm here to protect you. So I learned that the dog guides don't actually lead you across the street. You tell them forward. And if a car is coming, they won't go, but they don't know when to lead you across the street. And so, yes, that was very nerve-wracking. You are trained to listen for cross traffic and different sounds. And actually electric cars have made that more difficult for people who are blind because they can't hear them. So we're here to do that. And I will say, Lancaster County is very lucky to have VisionCorps. Not all counties have agencies like ours, and they would rely on support from the state, which is very overwhelmed right now. So if I would ever lose my vision, I'm fully confident in our services and very lucky to live in Lancaster and have them.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's pretty wild what you just shared there. The evolution and the fact that electric cars are typically synonymous with self-driving cars. So that's a great plus. Yeah. But then as they become more and more prevalent and on streets, also does create somewhat of an issue.
Yep.
So, don't electric cars now have to make a sound?
I think there is something that has changed with them. Yeah. When I first started here, they were doing lots of news stories on it. Yeah, like a hum or something. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't have a hybrid vehicle, but we have something that's like battery assist. It kind of goes back and forth between a gas and a I guess a hybrid battery. And I know it makes a specific sound. A sound like you wouldn't expect a car to make, but it's so like if you're backing up and there's a kid back there or somebody that's visually impaired would at least hear that sound. Because you don't hear a motor.
Yeah, things you don't think of.
Yeah. It'd be funny if like the whistles would just say, I am an electric car.
Oh.
It'd be funny if it did that.
That would make it really easy so people wouldn't have to wonder what it was if they were just listening.
Right. They just state what it is.
Yeah.
Like in a robot voice.
Yeah, right.
Which I tried to do with the hands.
Right. Well, I got what you're saying.
Obviously, a car wouldn't have hands.
Yeah. I mean, it could. They could make them with something that sticks out like that.
Yeah, right.
Mr. Electric, call it. Anyhow, let's move on to the next question.
Okay, next.
There's services for, I would imagine, children, for adults. So talk us through that.
Yeah, we serve all ages. And like I said, all of our services are at no charge. So it doesn't matter your age, your income level, you can get services from us at no charge. Our youngest clients are perhaps the most vulnerable. It's a very low incident rate of vision loss amongst children. So a child who is blind may be the only child probably in their classroom for sure, but also probably in their entire school. So they would not have really any peers to talk to regularly about their challenges. So we provide services to the kids, but then also offer opportunities for them to get together with each other in different recreational activities. We've done scuba diving, kayaking, cooking classes, acting classes, music classes, all these things that are fun for the kids. But what they don't realize is they're also learning to support each other while they're having fun because they're amongst their peers. So any age children we serve, and we serve, I think it's important to say, their whole family. So when a child is born and right away, if there's vision loss, it's a process for the family to accept that, just as it is for an adult who loses their vision in their 80s. Suddenly it's a big change and there's a grieving process that goes along with it. So for the children, we're there to support both the child and their family. And we serve people all the way up to, I think our oldest client was 104 or 105. And all had different goals, and we work to meet all of them. With our kids, we do help them as they grow. So once they get into high school, we have a program called STEP, Student Transition to Employment Program, to help them prepare themselves for employment, hopefully in mainstream employment, and help them to prepare for interviews. Because when you are being interviewed, if you're blind and you're being interviewed, it's awkward sometimes for the interviewer too, because they can't understand how you could work on a computer if you don't have vision, or how you could do certain things. So being able to teach them how to advocate for themselves helps them to move forward with their employment. And, as they grow, they just grow with us in all of our programming.
Kind of piggybacking on what you were saying about for the youth, you have prevention services that you offer for youth, correct?
Yeah. So, if any of you have kids and they were screened in preschool, it was probably us that screened them. So we screen throughout our whole program around 10,000 children every year for vision impairments. And this is not a doctor's exam, and it's non-invasive. It's not like the old school where you held up a thing and covered your eye and read a chart. This is a little camera. It takes a few seconds. The child looks into the camera from about 3 feet away, and there's little birds chirping, and they look towards these lights, and it reads their eye, and will spit out a report if there's a detected possible impairment. So for one example for this, we have a woman who rappelled, and we have a fundraising event, and she participated in that last year and shared her story. Her son had just been at the pediatrician, given a clean bill of health, and the following week, VisionCorps was in the preschool, Her child was 3 years old doing screenings, and she was going to pass because she was just at the pediatrician and told he was fine. But she went ahead. It was free. So she went ahead and had him screen. And we did not detect vision in his one eye. There was no vision at all coming through his one eye. And they did it again, and it was the same reading. So we called the parent and said, you really need to get your son to an eye doctor as soon as possible because we're not detecting any vision in his one eye. And it turned out this little boy had a cataract covering 90% of his visual field in that one eye. And he likely had this since birth, and that's all he knew. So he couldn't say, I can't see out of this eye. Like you or I could tell if our vision is worsening, but as a child, they can't tell and they overcompensate for it. And we caught that, and he had surgery within a month and is seeing fine now. Wears glasses, but sees fine. And so about 6% of kids that we screen do have an undetected impairment.
Really?
And yeah, it's not any fault of the parent because like I said, the kids just overcompensate. It's all they know. They don't know they're not seeing correctly, but it's imperative that if they have correctable vision loss, that we help fix that before they get into school, into kindergarten, because it will impact their learning. We had a kid one time that was put into special education classes because he was having trouble with school, and it turned out it was his vision. Once that was corrected, he was back in mainstream. So it's a critical service that we do for the community, and it costs nothing. We don't charge anybody for that. And then if a child needs a doctor's exam, we have a voucher program if they can't afford it. If their family is underinsured or can't afford an exam, we have a voucher program where they can get a free eye exam and free basic frames and lenses for eyeglasses. So yeah, that's a prevention service we're really proud of here.
That's unbelievable. I didn't realize it would be 6% of kids that you screen would have a vision impairment of some kind. Yeah.
I mean, off of the 10,000 number, that's 600 kids a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's higher too. Yeah. I know one year it was closer to 8%, but yeah.
Well,
hundreds of kids. And so if you have a child that's in a preschool or a grandchild that's not getting these screenings, maybe tell them about us because we're always trying to get into new locations, daycare, schools. This screening specifically is for ages 6 months to 6 years. That's where the camera works best. After that, we encourage annual eye exams, but we want to correct stuff before they start going to school.
Yeah, for sure.
You also have services for businesses, correct? Like there's a whole side of
So all of these services I'm talking about cost us around $1.5 million a year to provide to the community. And to pay for that, we rely on support from the community and fundraisers, but we also have a division that fulfills contracts for businesses. The majority are with the federal and state government. One example of what we do is helmet pads for the U.S. military. So right here in downtown Lancaster, 75% of all the helmet pads worn by the entire U.S. military come out of our building. They start at a company in Ohio, and then they come to us in a sheet, like a set of pads for in the helmet. Come to us. We screen print them with tracking information. They get cut out here. We package them and we ship them to the troops or to the helmet manufacturer. But 75% of all pads worn by the entire U.S. military are coming out of downtown Lancaster. And the best part is the labor to manufacture these is being done by people who are blind.
Wow.
So that the national unemployment rate for people who are blind is around 70%. And we're trying to chip away at that with every job that we can to employ someone who is blind. Right now, I believe we have over 80% direct labor being done by people who are blind. To keep these contracts, we have to have at least 75% direct labor, but we usually exceed that. So that's one of the type of contracts we do a lot with the military. We package rice. That's in Lebanon County, but we do food packaging that goes all over the country. Something that most people here would see are delineator posts on the side of the highway. Those reflective posts that you see, all along the turnpike and any state road, they came out of our facility. We make them here.
Those are the ones that are on like the metal stake that sit off on the shoulder? Or are these the ones that go down PVC, in the concrete?
So these are PVC pipes. Some get attached to, there we go.
Okay.
My guy brought that up. So they've jumped around. Those do come out of York now, but they were out of Lancaster. But yeah, that's a picture of them. They're the PVC. We do all different colors. We did them for the entire turnpike. They're made to withstand getting hit like 3 times. So when it snows, when we have a hard winter with the snow plows, we get a lot of business, which helps to fund our services. So we like a nice,
so you guys like a nice white winter?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So this winter was a little rough then for you.
Yeah. As far as delineator post orders go. Yeah. But yeah, so all these contracts we do, are, twofold: to provide employment to a severely underemployed segment of the population, but then also the revenue from these contracts help support our services.
Yeah.
How many people do you employ?
Overall, we have around 160 employees. And yeah, about 75-80% are blind.
Now,
the only positions. Go ahead.
Just out of sheer curiosity. So obviously you want to provide a safe place of employment. And this might sound harsh, but I'm not really trying to say that, but you have a safe place of employment for people that are blind. But does it stand to reason that you might have a couple more accidents than a place that doesn't have people? So do you get penalized for that? Like
yeah,
workers' comp perspective and OSHA perspective?
Yeah, we're held to the same standards as any other business. We're ISO certified, if you're familiar with ISO.
Yeah.
It's a quality, I can't think of the word, but yet quality management system. Yeah, we're held to the same standards. We we make our buildings accessible to people who are blind. So in the factory area, I guess you could call it the industry, the walkways have raised tape on either side. So imagine a big concrete floor, but then wherever it's safe to walk, it's outlined in raised tape.
So kind of like
raised
guardrails.
Tape, but it's tape on the ground, but enough that a white cane could pick up, oh, that's the end, but it's also bright yellow. So if you have some vision, you can see where you're supposed to be walking. Everything is kind of modified and outfitted to be safe.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I asked the question not to excuse anybody from setting up an unsafe place, but it just it dawns on me. Okay. You have folks that are visually impaired. So it would stand to reason that sometimes there might be an accident more so than not. But I guess if you're setting it up to offset that, you wouldn't. Is that what happens?
Yeah. And, we're not going to, I'd say we wouldn't pick something like welding, but actually we did look at a project that had welding involved, but you just get a machine that can do that piece safely, and people who are blind could operate that machine.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of an example. Like for the pads, they come in the sheet, and a click press cuts them out, which is extremely sharp, but there's safeties on it. Both hands have to be pushing 2 buttons before that will click down. So there's no way someone could have the operator could have their hands in there. Sewing machines. We have a lot of sewing machine operators who are blind for our sewing project, and those are outfitted with certain plates and stuff. So they know when to stop sewing on a certain piece of material. It's hard to explain without having it in front of me.
But I would imagine, facial awareness comes into play, right? As somebody who's visually impaired or blind, you just kind of that muscle memory overtakes around the equipment, right?
Yep. Yes. Yeah. And I would say, I feel like if we would look at, we have very few accidents in the workplace. I've been here 16 years though, so I can think of a few, and it's usually people that are sighted that are getting in accidents because you're probably a little more careless, I guess, and nonchalant than someone who is blind that's being extra careful.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's never been an issue here that I can recall anything caused because of that. Yeah.
Good.
I noticed poking around the website, you have a ton of support groups that you offer. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so that's part of our services for our adults. And this is something interesting that came out of the pandemic. So we always had support groups. We had, like I said, we're in several counties. So we had a support group for each county, just a general support group, and a social group for people to socialize with their peers. And then we had a few in different retirement communities because if they had enough clients, we could host a group there. When the pandemic hit, we realized we needed to do more for our clients who sometimes are already more shut in than people who are sighted because of the challenges associated with transportation. So they may be in their homes more. And we definitely wanted to keep them active somehow. So we added support groups virtually. So, for example, we added a white cane users group. So white cane is something a lot of people think of when they think of people who are blind. It helps them to navigate. But there may have only been 5 people in Lancaster that wanted to be part of a white cane user group. But then there might have been, 3 in York County and 6 in Chester County. So by hosting these events virtually, we could bring all the counties together and get a big enough group to really make an impact. So we started adding groups left and right. We have a book club. We have a VIP group, which is vision impaired professionals. We have a women's group. There's certain things that women mostly have to deal with when they're blind, is like applying makeup. They would talk about that for someone who is blind. Unique circumstances that women face. So we have a women's group. And I talked to one client who said,
I would imagine safety would be one of those things for women who are blind. Unfortunately.
No, you know what? We have done self-defense classes for our clients. Yes, I think the majority of people who are blind, I would say, work to avoid you never know when something's going to hit, but if they're going out at night by themselves, they may make sure they have someone with them, which I would do too, as someone who's sighted. So it's more avoiding it, but we have offered self-defense classes for both men and women. Probably more women did take those classes.
Sure.
But yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Didn't mean to distract you there off of.
No, that's okay.
The different kinds of support
But we had lots of great support groups that came out of the pandemic, and now we keep doing it because we've gotten such a good response to it. And quite frankly, it's a better use of our time and resources because we can do it virtually instead of having to drive to each location. We are bringing a few back in person, but a lot are remaining virtual so we can have the biggest impact.
Yeah. It's something that I've never paid attention to, I suppose. But you've referenced specifically white cane a handful of times. Is a white cane an indicator of somebody who is completely blind, or are there different?
So for the most part, to use a white cane, so there's some people who, we have employees here who know their way around the building who don't use a white cane here. But if they travel and they're going somewhere unknown, they will use a white cane.
Okay.
Just as a extra means of extra protection and to give themselves more confidence as they're traveling through, say, an airport or something. But generally, yes, people using white canes have lost enough vision that it's hard for them to see things that you and I could see on the sidewalk, cracks in the sidewalk. They don't have to be totally blind, though, but their vision is impaired enough that they need this extra sort of help to navigate wherever they're going.
So there's not like a color code pursuant to degree or severity of eyesight that's been lost.
No,
Okay.
no.
I just
White
wasn't
cane.
sure if there was something like that or not.
Yeah. And I mean, we have employees, like I said, who can walk around downtown perfectly fine and confidently, but they go somewhere else. They take that just to help them be
Sure.
confident in where they're going independently. I will say the white cane, there is a law. If you're driving and there's someone using a white cane, the law is to yield to them, to slow and let them navigate.
Now, is that regardless of crosswalk or any? I mean, obviously, if somebody's in the street, you should yield to the person. But
I don't know the. I don't want to misquote that, so I'm not sure if it's just. I just think you're supposed to yield to the white cane by parking lots, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
If it's any of our clients, they are trained to cross at a crosswalk. It's very dangerous to cross anywhere else for anyone, but especially for someone who's blind because they're listening for those traffic cues. If you would see someone with the white cane, if you're just out walking around, the biggest thing I can tell people is don't assume that they want or need to be helped, and certainly don't touch them. Don't grab their arm and say, "Oh, I'll help you cross the street." People appreciate being asked, "Would you like help? Can I help you? Can I help you cross the street?" I was at a lab getting blood work, and the fire alarm went off, and I saw a woman with a white cane, and I went up to her and I said, "Hi, my name is Megan. I work at VisionCorps, the Blind Association. Do you need help getting out, and she was very appreciative of that because in a fire situation, adds a little more chaos. So, but, just don't assume that someone with a white cane needs or requests help, but you can always just ask, can I help you get across or anything like that?
Yeah.
So Megan, it costs $1.5 million to offer all the services that VisionCorps offers. That money just doesn't pop into a bank account. I'm sure.
No. And we're not a government agency, so we're not getting tax dollars.
Yep. So obviously fundraising is a big deal. And I understand you've got a big event coming up.
Because money just doesn't drop out of the sky.
Drop?
I was trying to vibe it over. I was trying to
great.
Vibe it over to him, but
I didn't get it.
Day late, dollar short.
Yeah, right.
So, yes, the eye drop is a rappelling event. We're doing it for the 4th time this year. We started in 2019. And right now, if people are watching on the screen, there's an image of our website, and the gentleman featured on our website will be doing this for the 4th time. And he's raised thousands and thousands of dollars for us.
Wow.
He himself went blind when he was in his 30s, very, very suddenly.
Oh, wow.
And has come a long, long way. He's one of our employees and biggest advocates. But anyway, so the eye drop, we have 92 spots, and about half of them are full, for people to rappel from the top of the Holiday Inn in downtown Lancaster. And in order to get that opportunity, you have to fundraise at least $1,000 for VisionCorps. It's peer-to-peer fundraising, so you're given your own web page to go on. You can personalize it. You can share that link with friends, family to donate. Most people, if they're intimidated by the $1,000, are surprised at how fast that can come in. $20 here and $20 there adds up pretty quickly. This event raises around $150,000 for us every year. We're hoping to raise $175,000 this year. It's $50 to register to get your webpage, and then you have to raise $1,000, but that $50 goes towards it. So you have to raise $950 technically once you've made that registration. However, for listeners of the podcast, we're using promo code SLEEP, which will get you free registration so you can get your webpage and start trying to raise money. And we offer a toolkit to give ways to help money, templates for letters to send out, templates for what to put on social media. And it's a fantastic event, and you'll get to meet lots of clients as you work your way up to the roof of the building. We have lots of clients helping out and sharing their experience. So we have a lot of repeat rappellers because it's such a fun event and lots of adrenaline. We're having a party on the building. Yeah. There is a safety on it, so you can drop more than 10 feet at a time, or it'll lock up on you. It's
I'm
awesome.
very familiar with that kind of harness and safety gear. In my youth and instruction, I would hang off of cranes and fix some roofs, church roofs, pretty much any like historical copper roof I would work on. And
that's cool.
For a 10-minute repair, we'd spend an hour and a half making sure all the safety I's and T's were dotted and crossed in that order.
So it's interesting you say that, because it takes about an hour from when people register till they get up to the building, and it's about a 10-minute rappel. The average is 10 minutes to get to the bottom. Some take a minute, some take 20 minutes, but average is 10.
So we go to idrop2023.org. That's the site, idrop2023.org. And promo code SLEEP. What happens when we enter the promo code?
Your registration will be, you will not pay anything for registration. It's free.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
So it's $50. Give free registration, and you can start fundraising. And like I said,
but you should still commit to making $10.50 then.
Yeah, that'd be good.
The charity, for crying out.
Yeah. It's for the kids.
That's right.
But it's going to be a great event. There's a lot of people that come out, and we're having a party on the terrace. Holiday Inn has a new terrace.
Oh.
There'll be live music, food, drinks, games. So it's a great event, and we would love to see everybody out there supporting it.
That's super, super cool. Are there any other ways that the Lancaster community can support VisionCorps, like volunteers or other ways that you fundraise? How else can we help?
Thank you for asking. We do have, we can always use donations, and they can donate through the iDrop site just to the event itself or through our website. But we also need volunteers. Mostly we need volunteer drivers, and it's just a few hours a month. For these support groups, actually, the ones that we have in person, to help our clients get to the agency to participate in these support groups. Once in a while, we'll have administrative volunteer opportunities to help with administrative work around the agency, and also what we call like friendly visitors, where if we have a client who would like some help in the home, just sorting through mail or that sort of thing, we could use volunteers for that. Mostly volunteer drivers. And like I said, it's just a few hours a month that you would commit to.
Help make sure in sorting that mail, they actually don't throw away that $1 million publisher's clearinghouse check.
Yes. Yeah, right. Exactly. So those are ways you can help. The youth services, we have a summer camp where we can always use help throughout the summer. It's 1 day a week instead of a full week. 1 day a week throughout the summer for people to help with that. So if anyone has interest in volunteering, just give us a call, and we'll see what we have open and what might fit in with what they want to do.
That's super cool.
Yep. There it is again, folks. It's that time, talent, and treasure conversation.
Yep.
If you can't necessarily donate money, maybe you have some time, and it's something as simple as driving people around. If you've got some talents that you think could help, as far as corralling is not the right word, but if you could corral volunteers for events and gather, and you got a group of friends that likes to get together every so often, maybe you direct those time and talent to VisionCorps, and I'm sure they'll always take your treasure. They're happy for just a straight up donation. I don't want to register. I don't want to drop off a roof, but here's $100. I'm sure you're happy to take that, right?
Yeah, $100 would screen 10 kids for vision.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Yep.
Very good.
And, chances are one of them may have something undetected that we could correct.
Right. Yeah. Very cool.
So.
Well, Megan, this has been a lot of fun. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Sharing all that you're doing and for sharing some laughs and giggles with us. Now we get to know you a little better with our connection cocktail moment in time. Yeah, it's high stress here.
I know.
It's eye drop rappelling and then connection cocktail.
I know. It's a lot.
In terms of
put you on the spot. All right, I'll go first.
Okay.
What's your favorite thing to do in Lancaster?
So now with the weather getting nicer out, I'm reminded of all the great produce stands in Lancaster to go shopping for fresh produce at all of our Amish farms. Because when I lived in Pittsburgh, I thought when I went to school in Pittsburgh, I'm like, where are all the roadside stands for me to get fresh produce? So now that the weather's gotten nicer, that's one of the things I love about Lancaster and going around to different stands and gardening, all the great greenhouses and stuff around here that I took for granted before I left for a few years.
That's like the Seinfeld episode where Kramer was getting the fruit from the local guy, the local stand, and he's made a comment about getting fruit at a grocery store, and your comment reminded me of
what melon was it?
Mackinac peach? Was it the Mackinac peach? Or that was maybe George.
Something
I don't
like
know.
that.
It was something.
An orange melon of some sort. Yes.
Right.
Oh, mealy.
Right. All right. Question 2. Also about food. Do you have a favorite restaurant in Lancaster?
I mean, what are we talking? Pizza? Like,
okay.
There's so many great restaurants.
How about within walking distance of your building on Queen Street?
So
help you narrow it down
so many
a little bit.
Too. Yeah. So, well, I have to say the Imperial's great. They help host the event, the iDrop, for a really nice place to eat. I like Josephine's downtown. But I'll also give a shout out to the House of Pizza. I think that VisionCorps gives half of their sales. They have everything: salads, sandwiches. But yeah, there's a great
goes on
bistro.
a pizza.
You could put salad on a pizza. Yeah. There's a great Italian salt and pepper bistro. I like all the local places that Lancaster has to offer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Very good.
Nobody ever says just the one. Everybody plays.
Yeah.
All of these people about town and on the scene in Lancaster, they always play diplomat.
Well, if you are at my house on the weekends when we go out to eat, trying to pick a place.
Oh yeah, it's tough.
It's
tough.
It's torture. Route 66. Have you been to Route 66? It's a little hole in the wall on like Prince and Liberty. They have the best Nashville hot chicken sandwiches and burgers.
I know exactly where you're talking about, but I've never been in there.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, there it is. Look how quick Chris pulled that up.
It was very quick. Just about as quick as that skull chant for them Vikings.
Skull.
So last question, and this can be totally self-serving and shameless plug style. Hint, hint. If you want it to be. The annual event you go to.
Well, of course, the iDrop supporting VisionCorps.
There you go.
Are you rappelling this year?
I wasn't planning on it. I may end up, they may talk me into it again this year. I've done it twice. I would recommend it to anyone to do it at least once. Then you start thinking about it, and the second time you're like, this is pretty high up, but it's so much fun. I may end up doing it. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to take more than that. I might need one of your water bottles to replace this one, and maybe then I'll rappel with the water bottle. But yeah, the iDrop, I'm definitely there every year. And I do like other charity events that Lancaster County has. There's lots of great events here in Lancaster to support.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. Megan, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you, your time that you put into VisionCorps, your talents that you put in there, and for all that you're doing for everybody in Lancaster that needs your services. I'm sure they appreciate you, and we appreciate that you're helping them. And thanks for being such a great guest and a fun guest on our show. It was a pleasure.
And thank you for giving me the gift of sleep so I can do my job efficiently every day after a good night's sleep. And my salesman told me I need to retrain myself to sleep on my back, which I've been trying really hard. We got an adjustable. When I flip on my side, it makes it complicated. But yeah, I learned a lot when I was in there.
There you go.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Well, thanks, Megan. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. Take care, guys. Hope to see you at the iDrop.
All right. You're going off the side. I bet you the harness, you have to do it because the harness gear has a weight limit for me. And I'm going to start my diet in June. It'll be too late. And that's that.
I don't have a problem with heights. So I think I could do it. Yeah, there it is. Yes. That's right. Jerry had to buy produce for Kramer.
You'll
the field. Yeah. Joe. Is that Joe?
That was Joe. Joe's produce. You would do the drop?
I see if my schedule is cleared, but I don't mind.
We make a decent donation each week to charities anyway.
Yeah, it could be
maybe it's just the start of it. And we maybe on the show, it's like, let's drop Ben. And then we get,
could do it in the mattress suit. Do we still have that thing?
Yeah, we will have, yeah. Yeah. See, Megan's in there. She's private chat. She hung around.
Right.
Yeah. I think we still have the mattress costume somewhere.
Well, that's what I was talking about. The mattress suit. Yeah.
We're doing it. It's happening.
I don't know that I would feel comfortable doing that. I draw the line at bungee jumping.
Somebody from Gardner's is going off the wall. It's happening. We got to figure that out. Yep. Anyhow, we're almost at the end of our time. We got to race through it. So we do prizes on the show. Get your comments in. It's a 2-horse race between Steve and Nathan at this point. Again, the Less Snore, More Cuddle gear or the to-go bundle is a lot of fun. If you want to be a guest on the show and you want to laugh it up and deal with some of our sophomoric to juvenile humor at times, but really showcase your amazing charity like VisionCorps that's really helping our community, or you have a business that has a culture of giving back to the community, we'd love to have you on. We got a couple of those coming up. You go to lancasterconnects.com/guest, and that gets the ball rolling, and we get you booked on the show. My Sleep Better tip, and it is in the Sleep Better book, we'll mail you a book right here. Mail you your own fancy copy of Sleep Better. This is about following your natural body rhythms and the time you sleep. So if you can think of sleeping in 4.5 hour increments to 6 hour to 7.5 hours to 9 hours, I will tell you what little sleep I've been getting. If I can fall in those increments as best as I can, it's mostly been like 3 and 4.5 as I've been dealing with the knee recovery, because it's very painful to lay flat and in one spot for a certain amount of time. That's been very helpful. And then I just kind of get up and deal with it. And then I get back in that chunk of time. So that's been very helpful. More great tips. Go to gardnersmattressandmore.com/sleep-better and we'll mail you a copy out for free.
All right. Testimonial time. This week, a handwritten testimonial came in last week. We see this theme fairly often in what we do. Mattress that's not very old. Somebody may have invested in somewhere else. They're frustrated because they thought the mattress was going to last 10, 15 years or whatever. Maybe they were told that. Maybe it was just in their head. But the mattress is worn out more quickly than they thought it would. And it's not as firm as they want it to be. So, often mattresses will do this as the cheap soft foam padding wears out on top and people are sleeping in this trough. So this is Tom. Tom just wrote, his old mattress wasn't firm anymore and caused a lot of back pain. Of course, body is out of alignment. Spine is out of alignment, right? They knew they wanted a more firm mattress and one they could flip over to get more years out of it. And they were taken to, by our salesperson, taken to a product that was exactly, what we needed. And, they thought our service was excellent and not pushy at all, very pleasant and helpful. So, it's one of the reasons why we carry flippable 2-sided beds. Not that we're going to say a mattress is going to last twice as long as a warranty or twice as long as 10 years, like 20 years. We're not saying that, but a mattress that has padding on both sides has good quality coils in the middle. In fact, right over our shoulder is a little sample of one right there, right?
See,
that you got your head.
I always get it wrong.
I've always gone the wrong way at first. But, good quality coils in the middle, equal amounts of padding on each side and not like really thick, overly soft, cheap foam padding. And that's what happens with some like big, thick pillow top beds. They start to sag. And once it starts doing that, there's no saving it. So flippable beds, good quality padding, good quality coils, flip and rotate, even wear and tear, long lasting mattress. So, if that sounds like, something you are looking for, we're your source, baby. That's it. That's what I got.
You just used my babies.
I did use your babies. Thank you, Tom, for your kind words.
Yeah. And so before we wrap up, we're doing a little bit of remodeling around here. We've got some closeout furniture that we discussed. It's time for it to find a new home, your home. So if you're looking for a headboard, a platform bed, we got some great stuff there, great prices on what we have. Some mattresses we're discontinuing, some platform beds. There's always a little something around here that can be had for a real great price, like an incredible deal. We got a little bit more of it than normal right now. So hit us up as we get into the spring cleaning and, going to see a new little face on the Gardeners building.
That's right.
Here this week. So thanks to Two Dudes Painting.
Yep.
And
looking forward to that.
I think I saw on the rappelling list a Kirchner name, which would be maybe related to Tommy at Two Dudes.
Could be. Yeah.
That was just quick glancing.
Yeah.
So I don't want to
there's a bunch of them around.
I don't want to say anybody's jumping off a building that isn't, but maybe they are. Anyhow, yeah, if you're looking for a good deal, we got a handful of things. There we are. Carol Kirk.
I like the entry on the bottom right, wine, beer, and whiskey.
That's what it would take for me to get over the side. Just that last one.
They've raised a lot of money.
Yeah. And so yeah, they're off to a great start there at idrop2023.org from VisionCorps. If you use code SLEEP, you'll save that sign up fee, which really, come on, you are saving some money, but we'd love to see you give it right back if you could see it. So anyway, I think that's it. It was a good show. It was a lot of fun. And, prize later. Yep. I said in that 2-horse race between our super fans. Yeah. Jonna Hoover Green, your crown's going to get taken over, Jonna. Steve Goebel, thank you, sir, for tuning in. As always, you know the routine. You can come in and pick your choice of, a flask and a mug. It would be funny for our super fans would be if they have like a 10-person dinner at Christmas and they all drink out of these.
A gathering of the super fans.
Yeah.
Lancaster Connect super.
Or they're like, their spouse says, honey, we need a new cup for. No, we have 7 of these.
We have a bundle.
Anyway, enough tomfoolery for this week. We'll see you next week. Till the next connection on Lancaster Connects.